Hey guys, what's going on? SpitBrix here, back for another LEGO Ninjago video, and today we're going to be looking at the differences between fake and real Season 11 minifigures for Ninjago. Over on the left here, you guys can see the fake figures that we'll be checking out, and over on the right, we have the official minifigures that come in the Summer 2019 Ninjago sets. As we go through these minifigures, you'll notice that some of them are almost direct replicas, while other ones actually have quite a few differences. Be sure to stick around for the entire video so you guys can see all the minifigures, and let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's go ahead and start off the video by checking out Lloyd here, and for the purposes of this comparison, the fake minifigure will always be on the left, and the official minifigure will be on the right. And so here we do have the Forbidden Spinjitzu Lloyd minifigure here, and as you can see right off the bat, the printing on the torso and legs is slightly lighter on the fake version over here. Of course, whenever you're buying fake LEGO, keep in mind it's not going to be exactly to the quality standards that LEGO has, but you know, some companies will be a little bit better than others, so it'll be interesting to see how good these are. Up on the very top, you can notice that there's a bit of different in coloration for the energy pulsing out of his ninja wrap, and of course you guys can see that the head printing appears to be quite different. The original one here looking a lot more clean, and this one, it's kind of hard to make out on camera, but it is kind of blurry looking. I'm not sure if you can notice that, and his eyes are larger, it appears, and printed a little bit higher up. On the back, you guys can see they both have the double-sided face, but there are the differences back there. You can see definitely a different sort of coloring here as to the official version from the right side. Next up, let's check out the Cole minifigure alongside his fake variant. As you can see, the fake minifigure appears to have more of a reddish tint or a more true orange color as opposed to the official LEGO version that sticks to that sort of light orange that you can kind of notice down here on the leg printing. And so as you can see, the colors here don't necessarily match, but it's interesting to note that the fake one, it has more of a brighter color in some aspect. You guys can notice the printing once again. This one is a little bit darker here on the real version, and on the back, same sort of deal happening. I think it's interesting just the color differences here on these two ninja wraps. Underneath, we have the face prints, and once again, just like for all fake minifigures, there's always some variation there, just with some different coloring. But other than that, that is pretty much it for Cole. Simply as an example, here's an idea of how each minifigure was packaged. They were each separate, and they had this main sort of body build that was already pre-built, and this should send off warning signs in your head if you bought a fake LEGO set, because LEGO never has the head and the legs already hooked onto the torso, so you know that this is fake. Once again, the arms are not on here, and the hands are also separate, so you can notice in the bag like this. And also, if you end up getting 3 hands, you know that you also have a fake if you haven't already guessed by now, because LEGO never includes extra hand pieces. That just doesn't happen. And so whenever you look for a fake minifigure, if you bought one, look for these signs and you will know if you have a fake or real minifigure. Basically with the fakes, for some reason this stuff is always put together, and then the arms and hands are always separate, and you got to dump all of them out and manually put the arms and hands in and connect it to the actual minifigure. Let's move on to Zane here, and as you may have figured out by now, we're looking at the Ninja first, and then we'll look at the Pyro Viper villain minifigures up next at the very end. Be sure to stay tuned for that, because let me tell you, they are some crazy fakes. Anyways, we're talking about Zane here, and as you can see, once again, sort of a brighter color, or more of a pure color at the very top without the white mingling in, which is of course from the facial piece here that goes over his minifigure head. As far as down here, it appears that this wasn't printed complete, as it is a lot lighter and almost looks like there's some white coming through it on my version that I have here, so that's kind of interesting to note. Here is the back of the two minifigures, and of course we have him with his titanium ninja head underneath the ninja wrap, and it appears that we have a slightly different look, as this one has more white in the eyes here, and this one is, I don't know, it's just a little bit darker, as you can notice from this. It looks like this minifigure head didn't go on all the way. There we go. And there is the back. Continuing on, we have Nia here and her fake variant. Something that kind of bothers me about fake minifigures is whenever they arrive, they're in individual packages, and you need to attach the minifigure hand into the arm here and then attach the arm onto the torso. And even though that is very tedious, it usually works, although every once in a while you get a hand like this that won't go all the way in, or it's very, very stiff, practically impossible to push in all the way, and that kind of is annoying in my opinion, but I guess that's just what you should expect when buying a fake knockoff here of LEGO. What's interesting is that once again, the fake version here has more of a bold color as opposed to the real one up here on the ninja wrap. So that's kind of interesting that that is a common theme among all of these. Also, something interesting about this Nia minifigure is it appears that for this fake variant here, she has gotten an upgrade for her eyes. Those have got to be at least 2 times the surface area as opposed to the official one, as you guys can see here. It almost looks like they took the sort of printing for the original and then modified it, and whenever they copied it over, it got like bolder and darker, and then that's what you ended up here with the fake version. Something kind of interesting. Maybe that's what they do in order to obtain their copies of the face prints. And the last minifigure before we move on to the Pyro Viper minifigures is Kai here. Once again, he had this really stiff hand that I couldn't really put all the way in, which is unfortunate. And you may notice right off the bat how kind of wonky he looks up here with his head print. It appears that that's a little bit off for sure. But as far as the coloring up here, this is kind of one of the more accurate ones that look very similar, to be honest, as well as the printing. I think that this fake minifigure, as far as the printing and the head mold here and the coloration, looks the most similar for this version. This one appears to be a little bit more tan on this satchel that comes across his torso here, but really that's just nitpicking at that point. Underneath here we have the actual printing for the minifigure heads, and here you can see that this one definitely did not get enough ink. It's almost kind of smudged down here as well, if you can notice that, and definitely not enough printing for the eyebrows, so it looks like they need to replace their ink cartridges before they continue making these knockoff Kai heads, because that needs a little bit more printing. Kind of interesting, we went from Nia having too much ink to this Kai minifigure not having enough. Here's the back once again, kind of running low on ink up here. Granted, you may be asking yourself, well, SpitBrix, what about Jay? Did you just forget about him? And no, I didn't, but the seller that I bought the fake minifigures, they certainly did. I'd ordered all the Ninja, including the Pyro Vipers, and they did not send me a Jay minifigure, and so I contacted them, hoping that they could just send me over one, and they insisted that I'd pay for it, even though it was their mistake in the first place, and so I declined that offer, because I did not want to pay for more fake LEGO to make this video. I strongly believe that the fake Jay minifigure would have followed the same pattern as we've looked at for all these Forbidden Spinjitzu minifigures, so let's go ahead and move on to the Pyro Vipers. The first villain that we're looking at is a Pyro Viper. You guys can notice that they're practically identical, and that's because it's very easy for the knockoff company to simply just make a molded head up here and then just print down here. They don't need to make an actual minifigure head, nor do they need to make a ninja wrap to go over the top. Now, the swords are a little bit of different shades, although I don't think the camera is going to really pick up on that. And the actual shoulder pads, the LEGO version, the official version, is sort of has a bronze shine to it, while the fake version is simply just flat. Kind of looks more like copper, but it is not shiny at all, just plastic. And this one's got a little bit of sparkle or shine on it. And last but certainly not least, we have Aspheera here. Right off the bat, you can notice that the staffs are certainly different. The fake one does not come with a scroll of Forbidden Spinjitzu to accompany the staff, and it is solid pearl gold instead of this semi-transparency at the very top. Maybe kind of hard to make out on camera, but the official one here I got from the Firefang set. It is semi-transparent on the very top. You'll also notice the actual leg piece down here, or the ghost piece I should say, is slightly different. The fake version lacks the detailing on the very front here of this accent of yellow on the very front, so it's just less detailed on the fake version. As far as the molded head up on the very top for Aspheera, they're very similar, if not the exact same. There's really no color differentiation between the two. The fake one does not come with shoulder pad armor, although that's, really just an extra on this minifigure. Here's the back view if you guys would like to look at that. And lastly, it appears that the fake Aspheera minifigure indeed has darker printing on its torso, as opposed to the mummy wrapping apparent on the official version. All in all, though, the Pyro Viper minifigures, as you've noticed, noticed are not necessarily that different, they're just missing some details here and there, and a little bit of color correction. And that's going to wrap up today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, be sure to let me know with a like rating down below. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new so you don't miss out on any further Ninjago content. Check out one of the videos on screen right now, and as always, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video coming very soon.